Hey, 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 hey.
Hey, 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 hey.
Excited to be here tonight with you. Love our Wednesday nights. Love our Wednesday nights. And
Hey,
also, welcome to Dating Differently with Demi and
Dr. Conti.
love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So, this week we've been talking about stop dating from the old playbook and start dating differently. So, we're in the middle of that series. And this particular week, we're going to talk about getting off the sidelines and back in the dating game. Did we say that right?
Yep, getting off the sidelines and back in the dating game.
And I have to say, Dr. Conti and I, we've combined our expertise really to create a strategic roadmap that helps you first prepare for healthy love so that you can confidently choose with clarity and sustain the right relationship. So it's interesting, we're talking about getting back in the game, and I'm going to jump right into it because I guess about a year and a half ago, after um, just going through my experiences, so professionally and personally, I decided to date differently with intention. And
Mhm.
some of you already know the story. I know, Conti, I just want to throw that out because that's what we're talking about today, right?
Right.
And so some of you know that I dated or went out on meet and greets 22 people. So the 22nd person was the person that I am still talking to. And we're into 8, 9 months now that I decided I wanted to know more about every day. Every day I said, I want to talk to him tomorrow.
hmm
And I have to say this, when I say dated 22 people, I didn't sleep with 22 people.
hmm
I didn't sleep with 22 people. I went out for walks. I went for coffee. I did things I was already doing. I went golfing. I just had a nice time. And in that period of time, I had to make the discovery if that was somebody I wanted to know tomorrow.
hmm
And some of them I only talked to and met one day. And some of them I went on 2 or 3 dates. But that's really what dating's about. What do you always say, Conti?
Yes, dating is gathering information. That's all it is. You're going out and you're gathering information.
Yeah. So, I said I wanted to tell my side of the story. It was 22 for me, it might be 2 for you, it might be 3, it might be 5, it might be 1, it might be 30. It may not happen at all, but it won't happen if you don't get back into the game, right? And
Absolutely.
we had a question of the week in our Facebook community, and what was the hardest part about getting back in the game or in the dating world? And a lot of it had to do with inconsistency, trust, baggage from both parties. And so I know, Dr. Conti, you're going to talk to us today about, just the preparation and how that matters.
Yeah, it does. So, we talked about it because I really like when she expresses what 22 means because so many people are like afraid to get out there. They're wondering, well, how can you go out with 22 people? How can you date 22 people? But when you look at our strategy, and like she said, we took our expertise together and put it together. When you look at it, it's simply talking about how you get out and you meet people, how you get out and you date, how you get out and you find out what's going on in people's lives. We've constantly talked about preparing yourself. You can read books. You can read books all about dating. You can
Yeah.
be on every last one of our podcasts, which we hope that you do. And you can listen to just everything and journal all of that. But at some point, you've got to move. At some point, you've got to get out. You've got to meet people. I always say people don't come to the door anymore except the Amazon man, and he's probably too young. And so you cannot, an Amazon woman for the men who are watching. So you just cannot be someone sitting on those sidelines. And that's what we're talking about today. So preparation
Yeah.
builds awareness. So we definitely want you to be prepared. You want to be emotionally prepared, spiritually prepared. uh, psychologically prepared. And a lot of times, I heard somebody say it, and I think his name. I always like to give credit where credit is due. I think his name was A.D. the Great, and I'm gonna mention something else that he said. But I like his saying, um, "You can't don't deal unless you're healed, or you
Yeah.
can't deal unless you're healed." And so we're talking about that a lot because you want to make sure that you're prepared before you get out there your own self. I always talk about being that cake and being, having all of those things that we call readiness. And so your readiness consists of emotional readiness. And I have this checklist on my relationship lab downloadable. So we're talking about your emotional readiness. That emotional readiness, there's checklists. Have you released emotional ties for someone else that may be lingering on? Can you talk about somebody in your past without getting upset, breaking down, or shutting down, or being angry? There's several other checklists, and I won't give them all. But also, are you mentally ready? Your mental readiness. Am I clear about what I want and I need in a partner? Do I no longer second guess my intuition and my standards and my boundaries? Then you have spiritual alignment. There's just so many ways to get ready. So we want you to check those things out. How to get ready. Your self-worth identity readiness. Do you truly believe you deserve that healthy love, that respect? Because some people have said, you know what? I give up. I don't even know if I belong here. I don't know if I deserve that. But all of those ways are how you get prepared to get out there. And then the last thing I'm going to say before I swing it back over to Demi is I always tell my clients, when you are ready to date,
Yeah.
or you're ready to get out and start meeting people and gathering information, because that's what we call it, I want you to tell somebody. Tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your church members. Guess what, girl? Guess what, brother? I'm dating again. I'm open to meeting somebody, because people don't know if you're ready. People don't know if you're open to meeting. And if you're like me, they would say, Conti, I thought you had met somebody, or Dr. Conti, I thought you were dating, or oh, I didn't know you were open and you're open to dating. You're dating. So you have to let people know around you, because there may be somebody, their neighbor, their church member, or somebody they want to introduce you to. And then when you are in the grocery store, when you are wherever you are, start smiling. Hi, compliment that tie, all of those good things, because that's what happens when you're ready. You start opening up. Isn't that right, Demi?
It is. I liked how you talked about dating and how you can meet people offline. And one of the things you mentioned was friends. And for example, I will throw this out here. Just because you meet someone through a friend
Ooh,
doesn't mean that you don't still go through the vetting process. I have my own story with that
so
because
I,
someone we're going to talk about that. I think this is a fun episode because you went right into how do we meet people, friends, out offline. So we're going to talk about that, right? So, sometimes we have really, really good friends that we've known 20, 30, a long time, specifically when we're talking about us, those of us that have been in our careers for a long time, those of us that are empty nesters, those of us that were married for a long period of time and now divorced. So you have long time relationships with people
mhm,
and they know individuals that they may want to introduce you to. But again, just because they say they're a great friend doesn't make them a good mate. Absolutely not. And you still want to go through the vetting process. You still want to go through what you said, the preparation. And
mhm.
if it doesn't fit, you don't stick around just because your friend is saying, in our case, girl, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. No, he's not.
Right,
It's
right.
okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. So that was interesting. I know you have a story behind that too.
Yeah, so my friend, but you know what? I really give her kudos, Demi, because she pumped him up. He's this, he's that. He was wonderful. He, provider, nice place, seemed to be very, very respectful, all of those things. But then she ended it with, but Conti, I've never dated him. And so what she was saying to me is, now from what I can tell, he's a great man, but I've never dated him. So, women and men see different things when you're actually
Yeah.
going out gathering that information. And so I'm sure I found some things that I gathered and that she had no idea was happening in her, the referrals she gave me's life. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I think that's just interesting. It may be, yeah, they're safe and you can come to my house the first or second week, but that then you would do with a stranger than you meet online, right? But
Right.
there are certain vetting you still have to go through, and you don't jump immediately into it just because your friends are pushing it.
That's
And
right.
that's one of the things with dating too. I always feel like there's this pressure that
Hmm.
sometimes we stay with individuals longer or keep people around longer because you have the pressure from society.
Hmm.
I will say, and in love or romantic love, um, we put that before any other love, right?
Mhm, mhm,
And it's very interesting to me because we all, know what real love is. If you have it through your family, if you have it with friends, if you have it through your children, if you're a believer, you know the love of God or Christ.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
but for whatever reason, this pressure from society, and I think about storybooks or movies, right, that we see that when we meet that person, then we're going to get fireworks and we're going to get all these butterflies, and he's going to ride up in a horse or she's going to be in this beautiful gown like a princess, and we're going to know immediately that's the person for us.
not.
Doesn't work that way, right? It doesn't really work that way. It really takes time. It really takes the time that you have to be prepared, the preparation that's in place, and then feel good about yourself and ready and willing to walk away.
Mhm,
I use the word 22 dates because people don't understand a meet and greet.
right,
They're just going out with people.
right,
Very different than actually dating someone.
mhm,
And so when you talked about dating through friends or letting people know that you're available, one of the things that most of us shy away from is really dating online
mhm,
because dating apps and social platforms, you get a larger pool of people.
right, mhm,
It's an intentional dating environment.
mhm,
So it's easy for people to misrepresent themselves,
mhm,
and they can treat dating something like shopping.
mhm,
But there is a way to do that and really use it through preparation
mhm,
and move through it. That's
mhm,
something that I did. I dated through dating apps.
yeah.
I met
And
a lot
and,
that
and
way.
and one thing about it, like we were talking about the one thing about the dating app too, is because many of us, empty nesters, second time around, y'all not going anywhere. So it's a good thing to do because you're at home anyway. And there's your the company mixers that you could be going to. There's charity events that you could be going to. There's just I met somebody the other night just going to the doggy park, doing the things that you normally do, like Jimmy, like golfing. So you got to get out. But if you have gotten set in your ways
Yeah.
and you have not, the dance lesson class and everybody doing the line dance right now, get involved in those things, art festivals, all of that. But if you haven't, what is the harm of getting on with online dating and just getting to know people? And Demi has a great way to help you ease that tension and that fear about it, because we do know, we've heard, all of us heard, the Tinder Slint, whatever it was, the Tinder guy who did some horrible things. We've heard horror stories. So
Yeah.
you definitely have to be careful. But that's what we're talking about. Dating differently. And dating differently is dating smart.
Yeah. And doing new things and being open to try it. I know because I was married for so long and then divorced, it was really scary for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are these people even real? And so we won't go a lot into
I
it,
had one that wasn't real.
you know, It's funny. And so that's why when I met people online, I would say, "Okay, we're a match. Great. Let's do a virtual call to introduce one another." That
Mhm.
way I know who I'm talking to.
Right.
I didn't have long conversations or a lot of texts. I needed to know if you were the person that I was talking to. I actually had somebody, I don't know, Conti, do you remember? We were scheduled to call and I FaceTimed him and he was like, he didn't answer. He said, "What are you doing? I can't answer. I don't want to show myself."
And we thought that was hilarious because women, we can see, our hair might have not been combed, we might have not been fully dressed. We can see something like that happening with women. We want, but we're like, you're a dude. Like, what all you got to do?
What are you doing? Is your hair messed up? Because the picture I saw, you were bald. It was
Right.
very, very interesting. So there
Mm-hmm.
are ways and there are techniques we love to help you with. So, as you go through those type of processes. And I think next week, we're also going to talk about dating online. We're going
Yes.
to have our blunders. I mean, we're
Yes.
going to have
We've
the
had some
funny things.
blunders.
No, the funny things that have happened to us and actually show you maybe a few dating apps or profiles and things to look for. So that's something you have to look forward to next week.
Yes, because I tell Demi she's a pro at it, man. I'll send her some. I still do because I'm still gathering my information and dating online and dating in person and dating from friends referrals. And so I'll shoot something over to Demi and she'll send it back and say, "Hey, but did you notice such and such and such in the background?" I'm like, "No."
No, I
I
remember,
didn't see that.
you know what it was? Remember, it was a person met kind of all the expectations or what God, whatever we were looking for. And it said no children.
Yes.
And I remember looking at the picture and I saw two
Car
car
seat.
seats, or at least the corner of a car seat in the picture. And so called him and I just kind of asked, "Do you have children?" And he ended up saying yes. And they were young enough to be in car seats. But again, we're talking to people that are 60 years old, late 50s. And for
Right.
me, that's one of my
And my
non-negotiables.
standards
So,
and standards.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it's a whole non for me.
That's true. Yeah, I don't want to raise kids. I would love for your kids to be grown, and I would help you pamper your grandkids if you and I become the items. But no, I'm not trying to raise any little ones.
So there are just things, but that's funny. So let's talk about that because we actually got into that, the difference between standards and just being picky.
Hmm.
Because oftentimes people will say, "You're too picky."
Hmm.
But being selective
Yes.
about something that is valuable is
Yes.
very normal. And I
Yes.
want you all to know that because when you are sharing with friends that you're out and you're dating or available, and they share somebody with you and you say, "Oh, I don't think that's a good fit." The first thing they'll say is, "That's why you're by yourself because you're too picky." And
Hmm.
you all know I love to use an analogy. And so I will say, think about, have you ever been to a grocery store and buying apples? And all the apples may be the same price, but you still pick them up, you still inspect them, you check for bruises, you check for softness, you check for quality. Why do we do that?
Hmm.
Because we're putting it in our body and it's important to us. So if you're that thoughtful about the fruit that you're eating, why wouldn't you be thoughtful about a person that you're allowing in your life?
Yeah.
It really isn't being picky. That's really what a standard is.
Yes. And I want to say this, Demi. The majority of us have not been picky enough.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people are afraid to get back out there. If we were honest and openly honest with ourselves, it would be we're just afraid. We're just afraid somebody else is going to hurt us, somebody else is going to use us. Women are afraid that the man is going to hurt them. Men are afraid that the woman is going to use them, take them for their money or what have you. And because many of us was not picky enough, many of us had no way to vet people, had not identified like what we're talking about, what your standards and boundaries and your non-negotiables are, what you desire in a relationship, and you went with somebody on surface level things and you just weren't picky enough. And so we have to learn to like we talk about, know ourselves
Yeah.
and know what works for you, because even we're not talking about somebody that's abusive or toxic. We're talking about even healthy people. Let's say they're normal, as me and Demi used to
Oh,
coin people. Oh, Demi, well, at least he's normal. Let's say they're normal, but I've always said this. You still have to have commonalities. You still have to have values and stuff that and morals that align. So the whole thing is about having alignment. And so whether they're meeting in person, whether you're meeting online, any
yeah.
of that, you have to know exactly what it is that you desire and what you feel is going to be in alignment with you.
I want to ask, I know we have a few people on. I want to ask you a question. So, do you feel more comfortable meeting people online, offline, or through friends? I'm just curious. I know we think about that. And for me, I actually, after I went through my meeting through a friend, I was like, I'm good all by myself. I'm
And you
good
know what? And
all
people
by
think that
myself.
people think, well, meeting through a friend is the easiest way, and they know him. They know him.
Uh,
No, mm-mm.
I'm good all by myself. And I'm only interested when you say it. I think someone just put in, they like kind of offline. And if you're out and you move around and do a lot of things, that makes sense. So I like that too, because I do a lot of different things and I move around. So I think that was best. But I really like the thought of being online.
You
It
know
just
what? You know what? I found it has. I feel like I have more power. I do. For
yeah.
whatever reason, I feel like I can decide if I want to talk to this person or not. I can decide if we're going to FaceTime or not. I can decide if you're even worth me going out to gather information and meet in person or not. So I kind of like it. And the thing about it is, Demi and I talked about this week too. I am busy. And for those who I told her, the pros and the cons of being the cake. I always talk about being the cake and having all the things and ingredient. Cake has all the ingredients you need to be whole and great. All you need is your icing if you want something to enhance it. But the thing about that is when you are the cake, you're not rushing, you're not out, it's not a number one priority. It doesn't always, it's not always. So one of the things that Demi and I was talking about is it takes effort. It takes effort. You have to decide, is this going to be a full-on effort? I'm going to go hard. I'm going to meet 22, 23, 32 people, or I'm going to do it as it comes. I'll get online every now and then. If someone got someone for me to meet, I will do that because I am busy and I'm trying to, do it all and fit it all in. So you have to decide that because it can be work. But one of the things that Demi and I was talking about, but everything is that's worth having. If you are sincerely really wanting to have a relationship that's healthy and finish out this last third or fourth quarter with the love of your life, you got to put some work into it. And
I
some
love it how you said that. And that's how I always say, I was actively looking. And so I put more time into it and
Mhm.
more work. I said I was going to give myself into a certain time period. I'm real methodical about things that I do. So I was giving myself a deadline. And if it didn't happen by that deadline, then I just told myself then I'd be more passive about it. But I really wanted to put in the time from my professional and personal experience. I
Mhm.
wanted to see, okay, from journaling, from the work that I put in, from the certification, was it really going to work?
Mhm.
And it did. And I love how you just said about the time and the work and the effort, because some people, I've heard people say about dating online, it's too much work. I think
Mhm.
I've probably heard more men say it than women,
Mhm.
but I often say, and you've often heard, easy come, easy go,
Easy go. Mm-hmm.
right? When something costs nothing or there's no effort,
Mm-hmm.
people treat it like it's worth nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing when we get into that dating part. And I know we have a couple of episodes later, we'll talk more about that.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, think about if you just found $10 on the ground, right? You'd spend it like that because you
Yeah.
didn't work for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the money that you work 40 hours to earn in a week, and I know for some of you like Conti, more than that, you think about every dollar that you spent. You really do. The same thing happens in a relationship. When someone
Yeah.
has to invest time, when they have to show consistency, when they have to demonstrate character, all of that takes time, it takes effort. And when you get it, it is worth it when
It's
you
worth
put the time in.
it.
And
It's
I can honestly say it. I told you all, I went 22 meet and greets, and my 22nd person, he is
yeah.
still around.
Mm-hmm.
Every day we enjoy each other. It's worth it.
Yes. And he has my approval.
But we talk about that. So the real readiness question is, before dating again, do you ask yourself, and I know, Conti, you always say this,
Yes.
are you dating from loneliness or from a
Of
wholeness?
wholeness. Yes. So, are you dating from a whole place?
Yeah.
Because all of that can affect how you show up,
Mhm.
who you are when someone meets you. You have to be dating from a whole place and not a place of loneliness. Sometimes people have had bad marriages, bad relationships, and you just really haven't moved through all of those things. But I encourage you, move through them, get with me if you need to, because real love is out there. And guess what? Even if it's not, you deserve to have a spirit where you are free from hurt and free from frustration and open if it is available. If it comes along, you're ready, you're prepared.
Yeah.
And knowing yourself is important. Knowing yourself is important. Protecting your standards are important. When you actually do go out and you get off the sidelines and get out there, you go to the picnic and you go to the places that we're saying, get out and enjoy. You're at the concert and two guys or a guy is sitting next door. You're at the concert and a woman is sitting in the other seat. Smile, say hi, how are you? Introduce yourself. It doesn't hurt. Demi and I was out Sunday,
Mm.
last Sunday,
Yeah.
and we did doing, actually we was doing some photo shoots for the show. And when we got back to the car, I had to put something in the trash can, and right past the trash can was two guys sitting there. And we noticed they were eating from a restaurant that we had just talked about going to do the photo shoot. And she just simply said, "Hey, so how's that food? Or did y'all get that from over there?" And and we struck up a conversation. Quick, short conversation. It was about church. It was about and what they ate. It had nothing to do with flirting. It had nothing to do with exchanging anybody's numbers. It's just opening up and getting to know people. And so we have to be okay and comfortable to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we I said it earlier, but really recognizing the love you already have in your life. And
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned, family and friends or children, or if you are a believer in a higher power. But let's say people say, I don't have family, and I don't have children, and I don't have friends. Then recognize the love that you have for yourself.
Yeah,
And dating really becomes easier.
that's
It
right.
becomes easier, it becomes healthier because it's not from a place of desperation. It's you're dating from abundance,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I say that it's easier dating online than meeting through friends because then, hey, if I meet you and we go for a walk and you say a couple of silly things, or I think, hey, this isn't just doesn't seem like it's a real match for me. Not because I didn't hear or excuse me, not because I didn't feel um,
Those
butterflies,
bubblies. Yeah. Those bubblies in your stomach.
right? Not because of that, but just because it's easier for me to send a text and I won't feel bad that, maybe the next time I see you at my friends, or I don't feel any pressure that way. And that's just my thing. Really, we shouldn't feel that way, but that's just kind of my thing. But it's easier to just step away. It's easier to say no, thank you. Kind
Mhm.
of like when they're trying to hand you those things um, in the makeup counter and ask you if you want to smell this kind of perfume, or if you want this makeup. You know how you just say no, thank you. That's kind of how I feel like it. No,
Mhm. Mhm.
thank you.
And you know what? I have to say this. We always we miss it sometimes, but we talked about that family love, and so I just thank our family for supporting us. I see Demi's father over there. I see Demi's daughter in love over there. I see my older sister over there. I see my mom over there. So you all keep showing up, keep supporting us, keep spreading the word, because this is some really really great stuff that we have going on here. It's so needed. Thank you for supporting us,
I
you all.
appreciate you saying that. You know what? I saw him one other week on there, and I'm going to add this because I think the type of I know. Oh, so you all know my parents have been married for 60 years. And I'm probably going to get emotional, okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
And they've known each other all their lives. And they said they remembered holding hands in the back of the church that we've all been to together, and just dating each other.
Mm-hmm.
And surely when they first said that I love you, they would have never thought that this would be 60 years later
Right.
through wars, because my
Mm-hmm.
dad's old enough to have served
Mm-hmm.
during a wartime, through children, through illness and sickness. And now my mother is extremely ill and he is the caretaker.
Mm-hmm.
And so love is a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It
something
is.
that you wake up every day and you make a decision to say, I am here for that person. There are butterflies. Life is up, down, sideways, backwards. Um, you just have to know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I say it because surely the love they had for each other then was not as deep as it is now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But also, Demi, uh, to piggyback on what we said, that's all the more reason
That
to
part.
have wise choices, to be picky, to pick the person that you want to have that type of love with
Yeah.
for years and years to come.
Yeah. And it's not too late.
Yep, not too
So,
late.
I'm not going to get 60 in. Well, maybe, but probably not because I'm 55.
One
But
of my Dixie, and I won't give my sister's great testimony, but it's not too late. How about that?
not too late. Not too late. And I appreciate you saying that because it really is. It's okay to be picky, but that's even more of a reason too to be ready
Mm-hmm.
so that when the right person comes, you know it.
That's right. So continue to date with clarity, move with intention, and choose with confidence. Hello, you all. I'm Dr. Conti Terrell, and you know that is Demi over there, my beautiful co-host. Listen, like, follow, subscribe, all of us on social media, all of our platforms for more of this good old wisdom, discernment, and this unapologetic truth with just a little bit of holy sass that I have to throw in there. Until next time, remember you deserve love, you deserve peace, you deserve safety, and you deserve to bring clarity and peace and joy into your life. All right, so I'm Dr. Conti, and you are.
Demi.
And so join us next week when we continue to help you love intentionally, heal completely, and date
Date differently.
differently.